Hey guys, today is May the 16th of 2022, and I want to go over AppHarvest using cycle analysis and double DGAN technique. In this video, I want to go over some of the internal data that I'm looking at, just to kind of get an update on analyst rating, insider activity, hedge fund activity, that kind of stuff. And also look at the cycles and see where we're at, what are the possible projection forecasts for AppHarvest in the next couple of months, and just kind of address the situation that we're all in right now. The markets are pretty bad. I'm in the red. A few of my stocks, a lot of my stocks are in the red. I think the only thing, if you were buying the dollar, you're probably in the green. So that was probably the great, hedge trade to buy dollar, it's commodities like wheat, soybean, soy, top of my head, maybe natural gas, that kind of stuff to just hedge, your portfolio in regards to stocks. But everything else is pretty much right off the top of my head, kind of in the red. So we're all feeling the pain, but it's not going to continue, hopefully, forever. There's always going to be a bottom where bottom feeders are going to come in and hold up the markets and then go up and reverse the trend. So without any further delay, let's look at the internal data and what AppHarvest is telling us. Okay, so right here, I have what I call the expert insights. And the score has been climbing up. The last time I remember seeing this was probably between like 2 and 3. Now it's at an 8. And the rating is 1 is the lowest and 10 is the highest. It's like 2 off, from being top 10. There's a few things that we have here. We have analyst rating. We have also insider activity, which I'm not too happy about, but it is what it is. Hedge fund activity, I like to see that. News sentiment is kind of neutral. Blogger opinion, these are bloggers that write articles about AppHarvest. Somewhat has been very positive, is good. Investor sentiment is very positive. The technicals, as we know, are very negative, and the fundamentals are negative. But let's look at the analysts, what they're saying. Well, they're projecting anywhere between $9 and $6.83. It's a strong buy. We are this one, Jeff Osborne, 2 months ago. He's maintaining a buy. These are pretty much the analysts are covering that are in a buy. Looking at the corporate insider activity for March, it wasn't that good. There was a lot of selling, and surprisingly, in May there was 1 buy. So it's a little past neutral, more on the bought side. And who could that be? You can see David J. Lee, president director, has been selling 5 months ago, 4 months ago, 20 days ago. So, this you have to take it like 2 ways. Either David J. Lee is, needs some money, I don't know, for whatever, pay a loan or something, or for whatever the reason is unknown. But the facts are that he did unload a big chunk of money. Now, Kevin Williams, director, he did buy 7 days ago, worth $91,000. So it is what it is, but I don't like to see the selling from insiders. The last buy we had was Burnham and Ralph, and they've all been buy until David J. Lee started, unloading. In regards to hedge fund activity, I like this. This just seems positive. Somebody is buying with holdings by 840.6K shares last quarter. So it's in the positive in regards to hedge fund activity, confidence. And that's a GMT Capital Corp, new, 4.5 value report, 4.5 million. So that's good. Also, Crystal Rock Capital Management they haven't had a change here, but the value is 134.4K. So that's positive. In regards to news sentiment, it's kind of flat there in coverage. These are the articles. Investor sentiment, these are the other stocks that they're looking at. It's up 2% for the last 7 days, 12.7% for the last 30 days. So it's very positive. You can see that under 35, 30.2% are holding AppHarvest. Between the ages of 35 and 55, I think I fall in that bracket, is 44.2% holding AppHarvest. And over 55 are holding 25.6%. So that's good to know. bloggers, very bullish. There's a few here, I guess, look like Seeking Alpha. So there's a few here. The last one was Top Ranks contributor a month ago. Pretty much, they've been all bullish according to this article or this report. Hey guys, so now we're going to go into the weekly cycles. We're going to look at the weekly and the daily and see what they're telling us. So let's get into the chart. As you can see right here, there's two now that we have. I haven't done a weekly chart in a while just because the data wasn't sufficient, but now the data is a little sufficient. And there are two cycles that are, obviously, there's only two cycles that are coming up on the weekly. It's the 78, which is this one. It's still up, and it peaks out somewhere around October or September 26th or the first week of October. It peaks out there. So that's just one cycle. The next cycle is the 20 cycle. The 20 cycle bottoms out somewhere around, you could say June the 6th or June the 13th of that week. Mind you, this is a weekly chart. So you have the 20 that is going down is going to hit a trough on June 6th, and you have the 78 that is going to hit a peak somewhere around September, the week of September 26th or the first week of October. All with probabilities. This is just where it peaks and then the cycle turns down. You do a composite, this is what you get. You get a peak around here, although the peak came early here on March, pulled back down. Now there's the bottom coming in, bottoms out somewhere around May the 23rd, pretty much like the last week of May. And then it hits a peak somewhere around August, the last week of August, August 22nd, around there. This is just using the composite. And mind you, the dominant cycle on the weekly is the 78. So this is the composite of those two. Now let's look at the daily chart and see if there's any any edge or any information we could get out of the data set. But so far, the cycle now is going to be heading up, which is good. If we based here, we consolidate it. Looks like a first wave, second wave pullback, and now maybe this third wave in the works. But we'll see. Time will tell. Let's look at the daily charts and see if there's any information we could extract. Okay, this is the daily chart, and there are two cycles also on the daily chart that are important. One is the 328, which is this one, and you can see that this one peaks out somewhere around June the 21st. Interesting. That's the change of season. The next one is the 98, and this one is down, and this is actually the dominant cycle. So this one bottoms out somewhere around June the 10th. We do a composite of those two. Actually, yeah, it bottoms out June the 10th, and then it hits a peak somewhere around July the 29th. So we do a composite on the daily, and it kind of looks like the weekly, where it digs in a little more into June, pretty much like the first week of June, around the 6th, 7th, or 8th. And then it goes up, and it hits a peak somewhere around July the 24th. So that is your weekly and daily cycles. What are my thoughts? Looking at the hedge funds, especially coming in March, buying. I didn't like the insider selling, but Kevin looks like he has some conviction and he's buying in at these amazing lows. I'm still holding long from like $6 and change up there. I think it's going to go higher. The event to look for is for us to take out that $7 resistance level. Once we blow through there with conviction and power, I don't know if it's going to retest $45. It may have the potential to retest it, but I know it's going to go higher than $7, in my personal opinion. You look at the news, have you heard of food shortages? There's a lot of chatter about that, in other parts of the country, and maybe even here in the U.S. I haven't looked into it into depth, but look it up and see what your thoughts are on that in regards to food shortages. I know the commodities, wheat, soy, and all that are bullish to the extreme. The Commitment of Traders report are very positive. Food is getting expensive. Inflation, all those things, are affecting food prices. So I could see AppHarvest, eventually being in demand when these things, either blow up or start taking foot, especially here in the U.S. On the other countries, it's probably accelerating. I don't know if it's really bad, but I could see it, growing and getting worse with all this, situation in regards to inflation and energy prices going up and food prices going up. It could take a toll on consumers purchasing food, especially if there's food shortages. I could see App Harvest, definitely. I mean, it has a profit. It's making food and growing it, with artificial intelligence. So that's one of the reasons why I got into it. And I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for making higher highs and higher lows in regards to the trend. But the trend hasn't really reversed yet. It's in consolidation mode right now, just kind of going sideways. I guess people are just maybe building positions. And it's just, but when it explodes, I think it's going to be once it takes $7 and it starts going higher than that. Once we have a weekly close on that $7, I think it's really going to get to Momo to the upside. Well, hopefully you like this video. I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on App Harvest, but that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go too much into the charts because I don't want to make this video too long. And next update, we'll probably go in June and see where we at on that.